Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our virtual junior school open house. Today, we're expecting just under 100 families, so we're going to give everybody a chance to join us. We appreciate you taking the time this afternoon to be a part of this event. For those of you just joining, you'll probably hear some noise coming from outside. It's just lunchtime here at Havergal, and it's a lovely day on campus. Lots of the girls are heading out to use some of the spaces on our 22-acre campus. It's amazing to see how much of our campus we've been able to use, and we're so grateful for our outdoor green space at this time. So our numbers are climbing rapidly. We're just going to give it a few minutes with all the families we have joining us. It's going to take a little bit of time to get everybody settled in, and we will get started shortly. Okay, numbers are climbing. Good afternoon to all the panelists today. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you making sure that you had coverage for your classes. Some families might not know that we have all of our students back at school every day. So it's been amazing to have that energy in the halls, but it certainly made for a busy time for our faculty. All right, numbers are still climbing. Fantastic. Okay, we're going to give it one more minute as our numbers continue to climb. For those of you who've just logged in, we're just about to get started with our junior school virtual open house. You'll note at the bottom of your screen, there's a question and answer button. And as we move through the presentation, please feel comfortable to add your questions. At the end, we'll have a chance to answer your questions. Whether it's through this, we'll make sure you have an email address for some follow-up questions. And I do hope you've had a chance to visit us at one of our virtual events that we've held so far. Okay, it looks like we've leveled off with our participants. So I think we're going to get started. My name is Maggie Houston White, and I'm the Executive Director of Strategic Enrollment Management here at Havergal, which is quite a lengthy title. And what that means is I oversee not just the recruitment and admission process, but also the retention process at the school. At Havergal, we really feel strongly that it's important that your journey all the way through the school, from the very first phone call right through to the day your daughter graduates and joins our alumni around the world, that you feel connected, you feel engaged, and you feel well informed. So events like the Junior School Open House are a great beginning. Today, we are going to give you a little overview of the junior school. We've managed to get a sneak peek of our new buildings that have just opened. You're going to be hearing from members of our faculty speaking about the kindergarten program, our primary years program, our junior years program, and of course, our co-curricular program. We'll also have some time at the end to talk about our admission process. And as I mentioned, time to answer your questions. We really appreciate all the families who submitted questions in advance. We've worked those questions into our presentation, so we hope you find this informative. One thing that was fascinating, this is normally, as you know, an event that takes place in the building. And we were, as an admission team, talking about how much we missed being able to have our students lead tours, have you get a sense of the community as you walk through the building, because we know that connection is so important. And I loved that on the weekend, I guess it was the Thanksgiving weekend, one of our grade sixes emailed me to find out if there was a way that the grade 6 class could show all of our new families our tours. So we put our heads together with our admission prefects, and we came up with a way to show you a little bit of our school. So I think we'll start with that. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Nadia, one of this year's admissions prefects. Despite all that's happening in the world, we have been really fortunate to have such a dedicated group of student ambassadors who are keen to welcome you to the school when we are able to be together in person.
Hi, I'm Sydney, also one of Havergal's admissions prefects. Maddie and I tried to think of ways we could show you our exciting new junior school. So we talked to some of our grade 6 student ambassadors about the junior school and what we should show you. With safety as our top priority, we were unfortunately unable to visit the junior school, so we were sticking in our cohorts and we asked Miss Houston White to film a few sections of the school so we could show all of you. We hope that you enjoyed this sneak peek until we were able to see you in person.
The full junior school was reopened this September with all our new facilities ready to go, including our beautiful entranceway. The junior school students love that faculty greet them each morning, including our head of junior school, Miss White. The students appreciate the warm welcomes they get from our security team and everyone they meet in the hallways. We've been hearing about how the students also appreciate the bright, airy classrooms with views of the outside. The kindergarten classes were designed so they had easy access to their own playgrounds, which are such great spaces to be. All of the classrooms have windows between them and the hallways to make sure natural light reaches everywhere and so the girls can see what's happening in every grade. Needless to say, our students are definitely curious learners. We heard a lot about students' favorite spaces, the library, the new gym, the STEM and art labs which are connected, and of course the new dining hall. There are also amazing views of all the green spaces from all of these new locations. Of course, the girls love the pool and look forward to swimming class, which begins in grade 3. They love all the green spaces too. We use all 4 of the fields and outdoor classrooms that make up our 22-acre campus.
While we have covered a lot, there were some pieces we couldn't include, and some of our girls wanted to tell you about themselves and what they love most about HC.
Hi, my name is Kathleen. My favorite part of Havergal is building relationships with my teachers and classmates, and also learning new things every day.
Hi, my name is Jessica and I love Havergal because every girl has the opportunity to give back to community partnerships in really fun ways like Celebration Saturday.
Hi, I'm Anna, and one thing I love about Havergal is the leadership roles. Whether in your JK or grade 6, you can be a leader in some way.
Hi, my name's Ashlyn, and my favorite part about the junior school is the welcoming community. I'm so thankful to be a part of it for my last year at the junior school. Bye!
Hi, my name is Inez, and my favorite part about Havergal is all the kind and loving teachers.
Throughout the 8 years that I've been at Havergal, I have made so many friends, and that's why I love it so much.
Havergal students at the junior school have opportunities to explore the upper school as well, so I hope you'll take some time to watch the virtual tour that's posted on our website. We are so proud of our school and to be a part of such a strong, compassionate community, whether it's virtually or in person. Our guests always comment on the warm welcomes they receive, the sense of confidence and kindness that our students show, and the passion our faculty have for their professions. Everyone at Havergal plays a part in making our school so special. I really hope you and your daughter enjoyed today's open house and it helps you see all that HC has to offer.
So I'm glad we got a chance to show you a little bit of our school and to have you meet some of our students, because it really is the people that make the place. And one of the people that it's really important that you meet as you explore our junior school is, of course, our head of school, Kate White. So it's my pleasure to introduce you to our head of junior school, Ms. Kate White.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and to get to know a little bit more about the amazing Havergal Junior School community. As many of you may know, Havergal has been in operation for over 125 years with a mission of preparing students to make a difference and a vision to be a dynamic global leader, inspiring the pursuit of wisdom and self-knowledge. And I feel so proud to work as part of this community because we really are guided in everything that we do and the decisions we make and the way that we work with students by our enduring values and our deep knowledge that our students have the capacity to be courageous, compassionate, act with integrity, and really inquire about the world around them. And this afternoon, you'll hear a little bit from some of our lead teachers who will share with you a little bit about the way in which the academic and well-being curriculums programs are, the way that they come to life within the junior school. And what I hope that you see is that at Havergal, we really do blend an honoring of traditions. People are so very proud to be part of this community, while also being very progressive and forward thinking. And when we look at curriculum and when we look at well-being, it's really with the view of supporting our students to be prepared not just academically, but so that they enter into the world as agile, confident, curious, empathetic, contributing members of society. And when I reflect over the last 8 months, which have presented, as we all know, a number of challenges, one of the things that has remained the same and so evident to me is just how resilient, thoughtful, and capable our junior school teachers are. People often ask when they are on this journey of looking for a school for their child is, what is the ideal Havergal student? What are you looking for? What are the qualities? And if truth be told, the reality is that we recognize that each child is unique, and what our goal is to help to support each child to discover what their strengths are, where they can grow. And that's really why we place such a strong emphasis on our values and working with families that align with the college's values. So as you listen today, I really invite you to listen carefully and to ask questions and to think about how you think Havergal could be a place for your daughter to thrive. One of the things that I often think about throughout this process and that I want for families to imagine is, where is it an environment where you feel that you would be most comfortable coming in and asking questions and having those hard conversations and really working in partnership? Because ultimately that's what we're here to do, is to work in partnership with families, with students. And I've seen over the years, time and time again, when school and home can come together, that is really where the magic happens. And so I hope that today offers you an opportunity to see just a little bit of that Havergal magic. And that magic starts right with our youngest learners in junior kindergarten. So it is my absolute pleasure to introduce you to Usha Shanmugathasan, who is one of our SK teachers, as well as the grade lead for our junior kindergarten to grade 1 teaching team. Usha, over to you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Ms. White. Hello, everybody. I'm truly delighted and honored to speak to you about the kindergarten program here at Havergal College. Before we begin, I would just like to say that the images used in this presentation are pre-COVID, and hence why our students are close together and unmasked. However, while these images may be from prior to COVID, it still highlights that even during these times, our spirit and our academic integrity continues to persevere. Our 2-year kindergarten program at Havergal College, with entry being junior kindergarten and the cohort moving on to SK in their 2nd year, is truly based on the image of the child. We see the child as one who is capable and confident, and we honor who she is as an individual and who she will become and how she will contribute beyond the walls of our college. We see our students as the youngest leaders in the junior school with incredible knowledge and potential. Thus, our program is designed to meet each girl exactly where she is and supports her growth in a developmentally appropriate way. Everything from our classroom environment to our direct instruction to documentation of learning occurs through an asset-based lens. The question that we as educators reflect upon in the design and the delivery of the program is, why this learning for this child in this way and at this time? Maggie, next slide, please. At Havergal College, we follow the Ministry of Education's kindergarten program document, which is a very rich and thoughtful program. We are very fortunate that we can enrich and contextualize this program for each learner based on the resources available to us. Not only the abundant materials, but also the human resources like learning support, a literacy coordinator, a STEM coordinator, everybody working in tandem to support our learners from a very young age. The program uses both an intentional play-based approach and an inquiry stance as the pedagogical approaches to teaching and learning. Now, many families, when they hear the word play, sends a little bit of anxiety through them. What differentiates Havergal College is that we use a very intentional play-based program. So if you look at this diagram here, there's a spectrum of play. So at one end, you have the very didactic, highly structured classroom. So that's the teacher-led instruction. It's very scripted. The teacher directs the learning. Many of us learn this way, including myself, and it does work for some of us. On the opposite end of that spectrum is a very loosely structured classroom. Now, often when people hear play, this is what they think of. Children just playing with materials, chaos, no real learning happening. Now, what we strive to do and the program that we've created really looks at the middle part. So that highlighted area, which is the balance between that playful classroom with focused learning and a classroom rich in child-initiated play. So where we both honor young children's emerging ideas, concepts, and play, where the teacher can act as a guide and a facilitator, and where the teacher can also present provocations and learning invitations to push the learning forward. Maggie, next slide, please. So play is a child's work, essentially, and our environment is something that we call the third teacher. And it is created to support and extend student learning in developmentally appropriate ways. Just as stethoscopes and scrubs are tools in a healthcare professional's toolkit, blocks, light tables, gems, Cuisinart rods are all tools in every kindergartner's toolkit, allowing each girl's curiosity to be sparked, and it provides her the ability to represent her world in a unique way. The environment and the teachers act as guides and facilitators, allowing for the most wonderful learning opportunities to emerge. So even during a COVID era, our classroom is still designed where meaningful materials are placed to ignite curiosity, where children can use those materials to enhance their knowledge of a concept and their emerging ideas and theories. Maggie, next slide, please. Often you will see that, the slide before. Often you will see that the intentional play-based and the inquiry stance emerge in our projects. So this is a project that we're all quite fond of. A couple of years ago in our building drama area, some of the students started setting up the blocks and saying that they were doing surgeries. And the teachers were all invited, and we were cut open and patched up and sent home. And so as educators, this is where the play, if you just leave the play as is, the same kind of narrative and script would continue. But taking a child's emerging spark and then adding some intentional learning behind it really pushes the thinking forward. So as teachers, we got together and we started getting nonfiction books about doctors and surgeries and what that means. We co-created a list of getting ready for surgery. And then invited one of our family members who has particular knowledge in this area to come speak to us about how hospitals work and how the staff function in those spaces. So it was a great opportunity to take what children already knew and were interested in and push that thinking forward. Many wonderful writing opportunities emerged out of this wonderful project. Even Miss White had surgery at the junior school hospital. And we would all like to say that we came out of it quite restored.
Well, I'm not to interrupt Ms. Shanmughathasan, but I was diagnosed with a terrible case of death. Yes. And dying simultaneously. So I was very, very pleased that our aspiring healthcare professionals were able to bring me back.
And that's one of the wonderful things is that the community, the faculty, the administrators are all involved in the children's learning, and the children see that their play has a wider connection to the world around them. Maggie, next slide, please. At Havergal College, we really value a balanced approach to learning that honors both emerging student interest and explicit instruction. Because of our unwavering belief in the potential of each girl, we offer a comprehensive and research-based literacy and mathematics program that not only sets up a strong academic foundation, but allows children to access their world in a rich and complex way. Our research-based literacy and mathematics program allows us to integrate STEAM and coding and the arts in order to bring these subjects to life. We are also very fortunate to have an early intervention approach to teaching and learning that ensures that every girl's academic and social emotional needs are cared for in her kindergarten years so that she has the strongest possible start to her school career. When our students leave senior kindergarten, they enter grade 1 with the academic skills to thrive, but more importantly, with a passion and a curiosity to learn. We are so very proud of our students, and kindergarten at Havergal College truly is a magical place to be. It is now my pleasure to introduce Ms. Tatiana Bidiak, one of our wonderful grade 2 teachers, as well as the grade lead for grades 2 to 4.
Thanks so much, Usha, and good afternoon, everybody. I am presenting live from the new STEM lab, so that's pretty exciting. I thought long and hard about what I wanted to share with you today, what few nuggets of information I would like to impart about the primary years program. I have condensed it into 3 areas that I believe are important to focus on today. Connecting to kindergarten's explanation of the environment as the third teacher, I will speak to the importance of building community, then move on to the academic program and learning skills, and finally, well-being. So the primary years are a time of huge growth and development. We utilize the foundation that the students have acquired in kindergarten to continue to move their learning forward and support them in their social emotional development. We aim to create powerful learning communities, spaces that are creative and safe, where students feel comfortable and aren't afraid to ask questions and share their thoughts. A space that motivates and fosters a mindset where questions are sometimes more important than answers. We ensure that our environments provide space for diversity of views. People, personalities, their ideas and stories all form part of the learning environment and allow us to understand different perspectives. As we're setting up this community of learners, we also want to promote a culture of thinking in the classroom. So providing time to explore topics in depth and to formulate thoughtful responses. Modeling, where thinking is discussed, shared, and made visible. We ensure that we're using a vocabulary for describing and reflecting on thinking, and providing opportunities for interactions, reflecting a spirit of ongoing collaborative inquiry. And this part has been a little bit tricky this year as we have tried to rework many of our collaborative routines and protocols. An example of this would be what we post on our walls. So if we're always just putting up their finished, polished pieces, the students believe that this is what we value. So it's important to also put up the messy part of learning, the process, the journey of the learning along the way. Next slide, please, Maggie. As Kate White mentioned, we really do make it a priority to understand each student as an individual and as a learner. We continue encouraging our students to develop an understanding that we're all constantly growing and learning. It's the concept of, I can't do this yet, which aligns quite well with our pandemic life these days of, we can't do this yet. So a life skill for sure. Through our literacy, math, and investigative research curriculum, we have the opportunity to ask questions, use manipulatives to get a deeper understanding of a tricky concept, experiment, share ideas, share theories, and revise those theories once we gain more knowledge. Grade 1 in particular is a time where we see huge growth in reading and writing skills. Girls are excited about this and start to pick books of interest. Many can't wait for writers' workshop to dive into writing their stories. We are explicitly teaching skills such as phonics and grammar, spelling, comprehension, but at the same time, we're nurturing their love for literacy. In math, you may see whole group lessons, independent learning, math journals, problem solving, exploration, and hands-on thinking using manipulatives. This year, we've provided individual baggies of manipulatives as we move through various units, 10 rods and ones cubes, pattern blocks, or tangrams, for example. With the growth in their learning, we usually simultaneously see a growth in their confidence. Students become open to and good at providing feedback. In grade 2 this year, we discuss it as a warm hug, that's the positive feedback, or a cool breeze, the suggestions for improvement. And they get really good at not only giving feedback, but receiving that feedback. And we really want the students to see that it's okay to make a mistake, to take a risk, make adjustments, and focus on and enjoy the process of learning rather than just the final product. So the curriculum becomes the vehicle to teach these learning skills and dispositions. Next slide, please, Maggie. So there's a grade 1 example that I really wanted to share with you today, and it's the dream bedroom project that the grade 1s embarked on last year. You can only imagine the excitement that this created. So this is an example of an integrated project that incorporated science. They were learning about materials and structures. It included a lot of math learning and language expectations. The students had an opportunity to design, plan, purchase materials in their little Home Depot shops in the classroom. They were measuring, they were building, they were designing. And then they had an opportunity to play with their bedrooms and write about their bedrooms that they designed. So it was a real authentic learning opportunity. And all the while, they were having so much fun doing it. One mom told us that her daughter still plays with her bedroom that she designed at home. And my final slide is about well-being. This wraps around everything that we do. Studies show that the 3 most important aspects of learning are attention, focus, and memory. And these are all controlled by emotion, not cognition. So it does make sense to spend time ensuring that our students are well equipped to handle their emotions and feelings so they can put their best foot forward in their learning. Here at Havergal, we've actually timetabled this important program directly into our daily schedules. To date, we've explored our rights and responsibilities at school, making mistakes and how to handle that. And this month, we're focused on building relationships. What does it mean to be a good friend? What does it mean to have a friend? What are the strategies I can use when disagreements arise? So this work has been done through guided play, drama, open dialogue, philosophy for children, mindfulness journals, and also finding a lot of literacy connections and really great books that we can dive into. Our ultimate goal is to have our students learn more about themselves and be able to create a toolkit of strategies to deal with various feelings, emotions, and tricky situations that arise. We think that this will help build their resilience and lead to actions that will make a lasting difference in their lives today and moving forward. In grade 2, for example, the girls were recording how they feel when they make a mistake and what they do when they make a mistake. One girl wrote, "I feel sad after I apologize. And then I sometimes make more mistakes and I feel more sad. So this is what I do. I take a breath and say to myself, I will try to do a better job next time. And I feel better." Another girl wrote, "When I make a mistake, I feel that I need some time to think about it. Then I first say sorry to myself and the person I hurt." So these girls are reflecting on their own feelings and what they need. They're building their toolkits. By sharing these ideas with the class, the girls see that we all may have similar feelings or that we deal with things similarly or differently. It gives them ideas to try, and they see that they're not alone in their feelings. So I hope this gave you a quick snapshot into what we value here at Havergal in the primary years. And it is my pleasure now to pass it on to Jessie Grossman, one of our grade 5 teachers and our grade 5-6 team lead. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. So thankful that you're able to join us virtually this afternoon to hear about all the amazing things happening in the Havergal Junior School. First of all, I'd just like to say that I could echo so many of the things that Usha and Tatiana already spoke about and how they are relevant and how they are lived in grade 5 and 6 as well. Because the program at Havergal really is a through line from junior kindergarten to grade 6 and even beyond to the upper school, all the way through to grade 12. But my goal is to not be repetitive and to share with you some of the things that are particularly unique to the junior years at Havergal. And the first is really fostering student agency. And this is a goal school-wide, all the way from junior kindergarten to grade 12, but it starts to take on a little bit of a different meaning as you get through grades 4, 5, and 6. We start to ask parents to just take a little step back and allow their daughters to step forward in terms of taking responsibility for their own learning. We begin to foster in students greater independence and ask them to be responsible for both their relationships, for their academic commitments, for their co-curricular responsibilities, and to begin to take things on in a way that makes it truly theirs. In doing so, they're supported all the way along. We aim to expose students to a wide range of tools, strategies, activities that they could then use to begin to start to figure out who they are and what works for them. Start to decide what interests them or what executive functioning strategies are going to support them in fulfilling their responsibilities. So this particularly starts to happen in grades 4, 5, and 6, and especially in grade 5 and 6 as students begin to move closer to the end of their journey at the junior school and look ahead to the middle school, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. Tatiana already spoke about the wellbeing program and the way that that supports students, and that certainly continues all the way through the junior years as well. And we support students with some of the basic executive functioning skills so that they can manage themselves, their materials, so that they can decide what their home and school life and how those are going to interact together so that they can be successful in all of their endeavors. Another thing that fits into this category of student agency is leadership development. And at Havergal College, our leadership program focuses not solely on student leadership, on formal leadership roles, but we recognize that there are a diverse range of leaders within our school. Now, some of those are formal leadership roles, and particularly in grade 6, students begin to experiment with some of those formal leadership roles, and all students across the entire junior school are given opportunities to lead formally, particularly at prayers when many students take that opportunity to step up to the podium and speak on behalf of their class or on behalf of a particular initiative that they have engaged with. But we also recognize that there are other types of leaders. There are informal leaders. There are intellectual leaders. There are community leaders, and also leaders of self. And we explore with students, particularly in the junior years, these different types of leadership as students begin to start to figure out where they may fit in or how they may strengthen their leadership capacity in one of the domains that doesn't come so easily to them. Maggie, if you could move to the next slide, please. Another thing that I have found in teaching grades 4, 5, and 6 in my time at the junior school is that developmentally, students in these ages start to become curious, particularly curious about the world around them. The things that they're starting to hear on the news, on their drive home if the radio is on. Or I heard my older sibling talking about this, and I'm kind of curious about what that's all about. We leverage that in grade 4, 5, and 6, and really strive to connect the curriculum that we're teaching to the wider world. We take current events and pay attention to what's happening in the world and figure out ways that we can embed them in the curriculum. For example, in grade 5 right now, we are in the middle of a science unit about matter. And many of you may know that matter can be neither destroyed nor created. And we've been talking about how that impacts the environment in terms of plastics. And recently, the Canadian government made a particular commitment to eliminating plastics, certain types of plastics. And so that is something that we absolutely jump on and bring into the classroom so that students understand that there's relevance to the learning that's happening in the classroom. There is a bigger impact to what they're learning, and they can then engage in those types of conversations with their families, with their friends, and perhaps even think about how they would like to make a difference about a particular subject. You can see in the images on the screen, the one on the left is a giant Indigenous map of Canada that we were lucky to have in the school last year. And for the grade 5s last year, we brought in an Indigenous educator to lead us through some teachings and some learnings about the Indigenous population in Canada. In the picture on the right, with our government unit in grade 5, we brought in the now Minister of Immigration, Marco Mendicino, and the other gentleman in that photo is the Green Party leader for the Eglinton Lawrence riding named Ruben DeBoer. And we had a vibrant debate in our classroom between these two candidates who were running for election in the Eglinton Lawrence area. And so these are just a couple of ways that we endeavor to bring the wider world into our curriculum and foster that curiosity for students, because we've often seen that as students get older and as academic rigor continues to increase, that curiosity can sometimes be dampened. But at Havergal College, in fact, I would argue the opposite is true, and we continue to ignite that spark of curiosity in our students. We have a diversity, equity, and inclusion program at Havergal that is also timetabled into our daily well-being time. And this is incredibly important, not only because of current events and things happening in the world of which students at this age are well aware, but also because it fits in with the values at Havergal. And so not only is diversity, equity, inclusion taught through the curriculum, but it is also something that is explored school-wide from junior kindergarten all the way through to grade 12 in meaningful and developmentally appropriate ways. Maggie, if you could go to the next slide, please. So as students start to creep along towards the end of their time at the junior school, the inevitable question is, will my daughter be prepared for the middle school? And the answer I always love to give to that question is absolutely yes, and also no. Because as students enter grade 7, part of that experience is to go through something new, is to be challenged, is to, be in a different space with different people. And so it's important that that learning process takes place. But the strong habits that we have imbued in students in the junior school carry through to the middle school. And we hear that from our middle school teachers. Students are well equipped for the academic rigor that they experience in the middle school. They are well equipped with the executive functioning skills that they need to manage themselves. They are well equipped socially and emotionally to engage with a wider peer group, and they are successful in the middle school as they find their way. So that strong academic foundation, that connection and belonging that they have already built in being a part of the Havergal community serves them very well as they cross the bridge and head into grade 7. And many of them come back the year after. This year, not so much, but express gratitude for their time in the junior school and all that it has done to help them prepare for the present and the future that lies ahead. So in short, the junior years in Havergal College are an incredibly exciting time, and they really do prepare students for the journey ahead. So Maggie, I'll turn it back over to you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much, Jesse. It's an interesting, that image of the girls crossing the bridge. I always love that. They're so excited. There's that little bit of sadness about leaving the junior school behind. But I think it's important for parents to realize that our school is on one campus, but it's two distinct buildings, and that's done on purpose. It does allow students who start in JK or grade 1 or grade 5 to have an experience that's very much geared to them in the junior school, and then to have a change, to cross the bridge. And one wouldn't think that less than a kilometer apart, these two buildings would be two different worlds, but they are. And it's very much like Havergal. There's some traditions that follow right through the school, but there's always new and exciting things coming. And for the grade 6 girls, it's the new and exciting things that come from across the bridge. I do enjoy seeing, my office is right by a number of the grade 7 cohorts who found out today that it was our junior school open house, and listening to them say that how much they missed the junior school today. They wish they had a chance to go across the bridge. Of course, we're keeping our girls separate, but my favorite was the girl in grade 7 who said, "Oh, I miss all the little girls across the bridge," like she was such a grown up now. Kate, I am going to ask you to speak very briefly just about the co-curricular program at the school. I know families have been on our virtual admission center, so they know we've got a podcast that's about to be posted about the arts at Havergal, a second one coming about athletics at Havergal. But if you could just speak briefly to sort of what the philosophy is in the junior school and what's available for students.
Absolutely. And if I just can make a comment, I find myself after listening to our 3 grade leads wanting to go back and redo my entire education from JK to grade 6. I have the pleasure every day of working with the most phenomenal group of educators that I've had the privilege to work with. And the 3 teachers that you saw today are really phenomenal examples of the type of people that your children would be working with. Not only are they expert educators, but they really care about children. And I think that, as a parent myself, that's something that I always, I think is so deeply important. So I'm happy to talk about co-curriculars for just a minute. And truth be told, I could probably do another hour-long presentation on co-curriculars and the opportunities that are there for our students. But in the interest of time, I will keep it short and sweet. In essence, what we really want in our co-curricular program is an opportunity for our students to really explore a wide variety of activities, ideas, athletics, to really help discover what their passions are, to develop a love of the arts, to understand how physical health is such an important part of their overall well-being. And that co-curricular part of the school is really such an important part of community engagement. It's an opportunity for our teachers to get to know students in a way they might not otherwise get to know them, and vice versa. Typically, pre-COVID, our co-curricular program would either occur before school or after school, anywhere from as early as 7 o'clock in the morning, with our junior school girls heading down to the pool for swim practice, or a basketball game in the morning or after school. And the same with our clubs, which range from everything from coding to cooking to architecture to building, to drama, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And within the context of COVID, we realized that co-curricular experience was still not just important, but really critical in our students' well-being. And so as such, just as we've scheduled in well-being time within the schedule for the day at the moment, we've done the same with co-curriculars. And so our students from grade 1 to grade 6 all participate in a wide range of co-curricular programming within the school day. And as we continue to adjust and adapt to the parameters of our current reality, that will either continue within the context of the day, or we will go back to having it before and after school. Thank you, Maggie.
Terrific. And I think the co-curricular program is such a vital part of the Havergal education. It's why we don't call it extracurriculars, but in actuality, co-curricular. The athletics, the music, the drama, the clubs, the way the girls are able to engage and explore outside the classroom is really valued here at the school. And I know we've talked quite a bit about the fact that we have 22 acres. It's really what helps us to have such a breadth and depth of programming here at the school. Now, we did receive quite a few questions in the registration about the admission process, and I do hope you'll join us for one of our Tuesdays with the team that are grade specific about the process. But I did want to touch upon a few things. Yes, it is unfortunate that this year we can't have visitors into the school, but I know as parents, you understand the health and safety of our students, of our faculty, of our staff, of our whole community has to be our number one priority. And so the admission team back in the spring actually really combined what we've been looking at as far as how can we ensure our process is inclusive? How can we, with the lens of COVID right now, ensure our process doesn't cause additional stress on families, on students, and how can we integrate technology into our process? And so all of our interviews this year will be done on Zoom. Now, we've been using Skype for years and years with international families, and I can tell you, in my 20 years at Havergal, there is nothing your daughter can do on the screen that I have not seen before. So please, please be assured that we will spend our time in the interview getting to know you, getting to know your daughter, and making sure that she is put at ease. Sometimes girls, when they start their interview, aren't comfortable talking, and that's okay, particularly when it's over Zoom. We understand that. We're asking students to bring an object that they want to speak to. It could be just a stuffy, it could be a favorite picture, it could be something that's of interest to them. Your daughter may feel comfortable talking about it if she's in grade 5. She may, if she's in JK, not feel comfortable talking at all yet. Don't worry, our team are experts in engaging young learners in conversation and in finding ways to get to know them. And our assessment is really built along those same lines. During the interview, we have built-in questions and scenarios that we will work through with your daughter. Again, we know that it might be a little different for her. At the same time, we also know that students have had really different experiences with technology. They're pretty capable with Zoom. In fact, when I'm having an issue with my laptop, it's generally the students I go to first. But through the assessment in the interview process, we will be looking for exactly what we always have been. What makes your daughter special? Where are her strengths? How can Havergal support her? How can we work together to help your daughter be all that she wants to be? And when she's young, she might not even know what that is, but we will get to know all of the ways that she is special and how we and our faculty and staff can support her in her journey at Havergal. For students who are applying for grade 1 or grade 5, we will ask for previous report cards. We are aware that they may look different than report cards we've seen before. That's okay. It's also okay if your daughter maybe has missed some of her learning due to illness, due to being remote. She may have missed some pieces in the curriculum. That's okay. You've met our faculty today. There is nothing more I need to say about how expert they are, and they will meet your daughter exactly where she is at. Of that, I feel very, very confident. So the admission process is really about two things. It's about us getting to know you and your daughter, and it's about you getting to know Havergal. I hear all the time, the number one question I get is, tell me why Havergal is the best school. Well, I'm not going to tell you it's the best school. I don't think there's a better school out there, but it's about being the right school for you and your daughter. And when it is the right fit, it is indeed the best school that there is for girls out there. So as we move through today, I hope we were able to answer some of your questions. Now, I know some people have popped some questions into the Q&A, and we're going to get to those as well. And I'll ask the panelists to answer a few questions as we move. But I do hope you will spend some time to look at our virtual admission center, jump in on any other webinars that you'd like, listen to our podcasts, and of course, you can book time to speak with one of us on the admission team. We know this is a bit of a different experience this year, and our goal is to make sure that this experience is as positive as it can be. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So just so all the panelists are aware, you'll all be visible as soon as I do this. And I am going to jump into the Q&A here. So one of the questions that has popped in is a great question, and I'm going to open the floor to any of our teachers on the panel. What role do you see the teacher playing in the learning process of students?
I'm happy to chime in for this one, Maggie. So I think the role of the teacher is an evolving role for sure. I think we are really moving away from that show and tell model that perhaps you've heard, that sage on the stage kind of model. And we're really learning alongside with our students. You know, we're facilitators, we're role models, we are assessors. We do a lot, but I think what I believe to be one of the most important roles of a teacher is building a strong relationship with our students. And that entails getting to know our students. And when we get to know our students, it is just a pleasure to teach them and learn alongside them. And we really try to ignite a love of learning. And so that's kind of how I see the role of the teacher, as relationships as being at the top, and everything else comes a little bit more naturally after that.
Thanks, Tatiana. The next question I will take, it's how does the admission process work if we have a daughter who's looking at grade 4 in September 2021? So grade 2, 3, and 4 are not, and grade 6 are not entry years. So those interviews will take place a little later in our admission season. So our very first admission interviews with our applicants actually begin tomorrow. I know Emily Sims-Brown, our Director of Admission, Sarah Milligan, our Associate Director of Admission, and I are super excited. That's always, for us, that's like the first day of school. But our candidates who are applying for non-entry years, if we have space, we'll be running those interviews in January and February. And those will run in a very similar manner. They will have an interview portion and an assessment portion right built into the interview. With our JK program and our grade 1 program in particular, we would love to have an opportunity to bring the candidates into the school for a bit of a social, a play day to let them see the school and to get comfortable with it. But at this point, we really feel like everything will be online, and that's where we're headed as well with our non-entry years, even though those interviews are pushed back until January or February. Usha, this is a question for you. How do you empower JK-SK students to take control of their own learning? And it's a double two-parter. And what do you see as the primary benefits of play-based learning?
I love that question. I think they go definitely hand in hand. So play-based learning environment allows a child to take control of their learning because the environment is set up so that various interests can be met. So if a child is really into makerspace, you know, they can go and they can prototype and then they can create. If a child is really interested in literacy, there's an area for them. If they're really into Math Studio, you know, there's a space for them as well. The benefits of play-based learning are very well founded in research. And some of them include really that they benefit not only the development of intellectual skills, but also of thinking and motivation. So it's play-based is an approach that the kindergarten program was developed upon. And it's really the context for learning, right? So it's how children organize and make sense of their social worlds. It's how they actively engage with people and objects and representations. It also encourages the development of language skills. So the foundation for literacy is really oral language development, and play-based learning allows for oral language development, for children's expressive language to be developed, for children's receptive language to be developed, for them to develop a more fulsome vocabulary, for them to develop their questioning skills. So as they're interacting with materials, their peers, and with each other, we can introduce novelty vocabulary and contextualize it for them. So on a worksheet, the learning is decontextualized, but in play, the learning is contextualized. So that hospital project, for example, words like surgery, surgeon, all those great vocabulary words are coming out, you know, through that play. It also supports emergent reading and writing skills. So we know that before children are able to write the voluminous things that they will write and read all the voluminous things that they will read, they need opportunities to develop their gross motor and their fine motor skills, which a play-based environment allows for. Also, the social emotional skills, more than anything, really. We know that self-regulation is the basis for success, academic and in later life. We're all still working on our self-reg, even as adults. And so social emotional skills are developed in a play-based program. You're learning about cooperation. You're learning about negotiation. You're learning about how to pick up on somebody else's social emotional cues and how to enter a play scenario, how to make friends. You're learning about empathy. You're learning about courage. So play-based environment, I think really isn't that the technical skills are lost. Actually, they're highlighted and they're brought to fruition. And more importantly, on top of all of that, the benefit of a play-based environment is that it fosters creativity and imagination. What we're really doing is that we're honoring your daughter for the person that she is, and we're encouraging her imagination to fly here at Havergal College. And a play-based environment really is the vehicle to do that.
Usha, your passion for your program comes shining through. So thank you so much for that. So a number of people have submitted questions about entry years. So in kindergarten, we take between 16 and 18 students. The odd time we will have 20 students in a kindergarten classroom. We do have 2 teachers there. In grade 1, we move from 18 students in senior kindergarten to 32 students in grade 1. And then for grade 5, we get to classes of 20 by grade 4, and we keep that moving by adding a class of 20 in grade 5. And then the next entry point after grade 5 is grade 7. So those are our 3 entry years, and that's the class size. So one of the questions that's come up has been around class size and what are the class sizes this year, and in particular in grade 5, how has COVID affected our class sizes? So Kate, do you want to speak to that a little bit about how we put together our cohorts?
Yeah, absolutely. So in all of our COVID planning, we've really been guided by Toronto Public Health, and we continue to be throughout our review of everything that we've been doing. This year in grade 5, we have approximately 15 students in each class. Typically we would have 3, but we decided that it would be best for us to hire additional teachers in order to keep those class sizes low.
And so we've done something very similar in the upper school. Again, the size of our school really allowed us to have space to ensure that classes were small. There was an incredible amount of work. I am so impressed with the dedication of the senior leadership team here at Havergal, who put together the cohorts and the well-being timetable that allowed our students to fully engage in school every day during COVID, but in a manner that was so safe, right down to the way lunch is delivered to students, the amount of time they have outside, the specific areas that they're in each day. So it is now 12:58. Well done, team. We did pretty well with our timing there. This brings a close to our junior school open house, but it's certainly not the end of our discussions with you. Please know the admission team is here to help in any way we can. If there was questions that you didn't get to type in today, but you'd like some answers to, please do reach out to us at admissions@havergal.on.ca. We hope we'll see you at Tuesdays with the team soon, and we wish you all a safe and happy day. Be well, everybody. Thank you.